Roy Williams, not in this scandal, but as far as like Roy Williams with the whole thing with North Carolina, and I think it was the tutoring, I think the tutors were taking the test, for the players, and everything, and that points at you since you're the coach. So it's going to point at some coach at this point. They haven't, named any other additional coaches, but I think we are getting to the point where someone's head is going to roll. They're already cutting them off from the feet. Chuck Persons, I still can't believe he was involved in it. Former NBA player, aka the Rifleman. He was charged. NBA agents were charged. Adidas executives are charged. So you just don't know how deep this thing actually goes, with it. But we are going to find out. We are going to get closer, and we are going to get some penalties laid out. We are going to get some jobs that will be taken. I'm just wondering if this is going to be, a big Nino Brown situation, CMB. If you remember New Jack City, and it's not a joke. I'm just saying, because if you remember the movie, everyone knew Nino Brown was running the whole operation. But when it came down to them trying to cut heads and pin it on someone, what did he do? He said, "Look at that light-skinned dude over there in the corner. He's the leader of CMB." He's not taking the fall. He said this is bigger, than Nino Brown. So you've heard me say that before, on this show. So it's going to be, a lot of probably mid-level heads that will roll, and very few big-time heads. But we are getting to where it is heating up, and I figure probably we'll probably have one more college basketball season before all this now, because it was a great, tournament, even up to the championship game with Michigan and Villanova and all that stuff. So it got the attention away, from the investigation, because it was such a good tournament with Loyola and Virginia losing, and all these other teams, that was out there. So I think we'll get to one more college basketball season. There'll still be some names that will be thrown out there and sprinkled, throughout the season, and I think they'll pick their spots where they're going to bring it up. But then I think after one more college basketball season, that's where stuff is going to start hitting the fans. There's going to start be a lot of finger pointing, and then people are going to be showing up in court, Cedric Galloway said, "Let me know when Duke names come up." Now, I'm not going to put it past anybody, but here's the thing I would say about that, Sid, is that Duke and North Carolina, and all these schools, they are major schools. There are schools kids want to go to. There could be a bidding war. I wouldn't be surprised on it. I just don't know if Duke necessarily would be involved. Coach K involved, I should say. I can still see someone under, in Duke, because I'm not going to put anything past anybody that they wouldn't do something illegal in the NCAA, when it comes to winning, but I just think I know what you're saying, because if Duke name comes up, there's probably going to be a lot of people that's happy. They're going to be like, "See, I told you, they've been cheating all along. They've been paying these kids, and everything, but now they're on scholarship, don't get me wrong, but it's still expensive to go to Duke. So they got some little change, under the table and all that stuff. I'm not saying I agree with it, not even saying I understand, but I see where they're going with it. But we are getting closer to that whole thing popping off, and we're just like, whoa. I didn't know. So let's get off that, and we'll leave college basketball alone because the season is over, and we'll get into some NBA talk. Excuse me. And you listen to the Wait a Minute show with your man Jelani JB Bodie and Clutch. Kevin, I saw your comment. He said, "Jelani, don't make me call in tonight because we're going to be talking a little bit about the Cowboys, and I don't want Kevin to go off. You won't have to worry about that. You won't have to call in, Kevin. It won't be that type of show, you know. But let's get into some NBA news and some updates as well, because we got some scores going on. So I'll give you that as tonight's show is going on, and it looks like Cleveland really doesn't care, you know, about position. And I talked about this last week, you know, that they really don't care, you know, where they line up, because they've shown whoever has been the top seed or a seed higher than them hasn't been able to get the job done to take them out. So they are losing right now by 20 points to the New York Knicks. So obviously, I think they are satisfied where they are at. Probably the biggest game that's going on tonight is Minnesota and Denver, and I really need Minnesota to win this, because one, I was on book about them winning 50 games. Now, Jimmy Butler got hurt, so I think they would have got to the 50 games if Jimmy had not got hurt. But I think they would have 48 games with this win, and they would make the playoffs. So it will make me actually look like I know what I'm talking about a little bit. So please, Minnesota, help me out. But they started in the third quarter, and I think they're up by like about 6 points at this point going on. Some other news, or some other scores, I should say, is New Orleans and San Antonio. The Pelicans are handling business. They are up by 20, 63-43. So that will probably not be any close games. But you got a lot of, you know, different scenarios that we're going to get into in just a moment. But those are some of the scores that's going down right now. Oh, and I can't forget the 76ers. They put up 80 points in one half. And Milwaukee put up 44. So I don't think there's anything else that we need to say, you know, about that. As Forrest Gump would say, and that's all I'm going to say about that. So those are some of your scores for tonight. Some of those look like they're going to be go ahead and be slotted. So that leads us into the playoff scenario. So again, there's a lot of playoff scenarios. The one that I was really hoping we would get, but it doesn't look like we're going to get it, because I think right now, regardless of what happened, they would not finish in the 7th spot out west, and that was OKC. I was going to be looking forward to actually seeing that matchup. Now, you might possibly could get it in the second round, but the first round here's the reason why I was looking forward to seeing that in the first round. Not only just because it's OKC and their big three against, you know, Golden State and all this, but Steph Curry is not playing. You know, and people, you know, are talking about, you know, the Warriors being weaker, you know, as a team because of Steph Curry not being there. Well, of course we know that. But then you will say you got the second. Some people will argue the best basketball player in the world right now, in KD, that's there. And I was looking forward to hopefully getting that, but doesn't look like we're going to get it unless it happens in the second round. Actually, we're not going to get it because they can't finish in the 7th spot. But I'm just hoping that is a playoff scenario that I'm hoping that we get. And maybe, you know, Steph come back slowly, you know, and not necessarily play that game, because I'm interested. And even if not, I'm still interested in the first round with Golden State and see who they match up with, because it's KD's team right now. And there was a little interesting stat, you know, that they were talking about with KD, is that they're almost at 500 without Steph when they're playing, when KD is on the floor. And I think that's surprising that their record will be almost 500. You would think that if KD is not there, it may not work, you know, be the well-oiled machine like it is with Steph, but you would think that he could probably put that team on his back. And another little nugget that I found out today as well was that KD this season, he has scored over 40 points 5 times. All 5 times they have lost this season. So I'm just like, hey, if it's on KD's back, can he deliver? Now, they have to play a different style of basketball, of course, because with Steph, they cater the offense to him, and everything runs through Steph. And then it funnels to KD, then it funnels to Clay, then it funnels to Draymond, and even the way like they play defense. This is a Steph Curry team. And if they go away from that, and KD is the man, and he is supposed to put, them on his shoulder, because remember, now it is what it is. He won the championship, but he hasn't won it in the fashion that a lot of people like. But he won the championship, but Steph was there. He's going to have an opportunity. And if they, for whatever reason, slips up, and they get eliminated in the first round. Let's just say, let me look at the standings for a second, because I got to see who's in the West in that spot. Depending on how everything goes, because let's just say they ran into the Pelicans, and they better hope they don't. I don't think they will see Utah in the first round. Utah is too high. They're third spot. But if something happened with the Pelicans, which it doesn't look like it because they're handling business against San Antonio, but if they dropped at some point and they got into that 7th spot, they could be a problem. Anthony Davis is he's playing out of his mind right now. And I have to give him all the credit in the world, because when Boogie went down, I was just like, they are in trouble. I said I still thought they would make the playoffs, but I thought they would really struggle. And without Boogie or without Steph, if they saw the Pelicans, Rondo, Holiday, Mirotic, that's not a given. Golden State is not about to run through the playoffs like they did last year. I don't think so. In the Wait a Minute Show chat room, Angry Black Man said Warriors ain't winning with KD leading the team. He went to there to have someone else do the heavy lifting. He has a tattoo of Rick James on his thigh. Need I say more? Well, Angry Black Man, that is cold-blooded. But that's what my mature audience would know what I'm talking about. The young cats don't know. But Angry Black Man has, he's on to something, because if you look, what he's saying is basically he had Russ and he had James, although they were young, but they didn't get the job done. Then James went off and did his own thing. Him and Russ, they had the Warriors dead to rights. They were up 3-1. Warriors came back. You would think that KD would have closed out one of those games and put the team on his back, because he was the guy there. Wow. And I'm looking in the Wait a Minute Show chat room, because Angry Black Man, I gotta check this out, because he just said Russ, and I'm not surprised that he didn't get it. I mean, that he did get it, but it still is amazing. He said Russ has 17 rebounds. He just averaged a triple-double for the 2nd straight year. He is a mutant, not a human. Yeah, he's right about that. So congratulations to Russell Westbrook for another year, back-to-back triple-double, which I still don't understand how he's not in the running for MVP. If you gave it to him last year and this year he does it back-to-back, and he does something. One, he did something that nobody's done in 30, 40 years. Last time was the Big O. And then now he's did it back-to-back. I still think James Harden should have won last year, and maybe you could have gave it to Russ, this year. But that is a ridiculous accomplishment. Ridiculous. Now, excuse me. Let me see. I'm looking at it right now as we speak, and this is the one thing about a live show. Russ has 3 points, 17 rebounds, and 14 assists. So I don't know if if he said, you know what, damn these points.